And welcome back to the show. Well, according to the United States Bureau of Labor, approximately 20% of new businesses actually fail during the first 2 years of operation and 45% during the first 5 years. Now, starting and getting your business off the ground, especially for entrepreneurial and independently minded owners, is a tremendous challenge at any time, especially during a worldwide pandemic. Entrepreneurs, as well as small business owners, must invest their money wisely and consider all manners of budgeting scenarios. And here to tell us more is the president and CEO of National Retail Solutions, Elie Katz. And Elie, good to have you.
Daren, thank you for having me back. It's always great to see you.
Well, great to see you too. Let's talk about this here. It is a challenge, and we've been talking about small businesses a lot throughout the course of the show. And when you talk about small businesses, it's really hard to thrive economically. But as I said in the lead, a lot of businesses fail within the first couple of years. And I guess the real reason is why.
Listen, making money is hard, right? Everyone thinks it's easy to make money. But the reality is there's so many challenges, especially when you are a single operator or you own your own business, you're an entrepreneur. You know, you always look at these franchises and you wonder, why are so many of these franchises successful? Because they provide you the cookie cutter of here is what your expenses are. This is how you do this system. This is how you make this pizza. This is how you make, you know, and everything is basically trial and error from the company. And you assume that when they hand it to you, they know the package is already, the cake is already baked. But a lot of, you know, America is the backbone is independent and small businesses. And we saw that during this pandemic. And a lot of them don't have the guidance of a big corporation or a franchise to give them, you know, the direction and the tools to be successful. So they have to use their own money and try and fail or try and succeed. And there's a lot of challenges when it comes to opening and running your own business. It's not just turning on the open sign. Once that open sign is there, then you got to get the customers in, then you got to provide the proper services, then you got to make sure that all your equipment and the tools of your trade, whatever it is does well. And then you have to make sure that you're not overpaying for stuff. Or in many cases that you and I have spoken offline, you're not overpaying for your credit card processing, basically having a little partner that you didn't realize. Right? Everyone, you know, who's a tenant feels that their landlord is their partner and they didn't realize that, but okay, you accept it. You have a set amount for the most part of how much you're going to pay every single month. But with credit card processing, the better you do, the more money you lose or the more money you got to give away. So that is why we have a spectacular credit card processing product, NRS Pay. I'm wearing the hat. And as you know, our friend Mariano Rivera is actually the spokesperson for the company. And it's a very clean, easy to understand product. It's completely changing the credit card industry.
Well, that's one thing I'll come back to in a few minutes, but I also want to talk about some other things in terms of like businesses, bodegas, an opportunity to really bring business to the community. We're seeing an emergence of bodegas, but I've also had the head of the Bodegas Association right here on this show. And he says it's been very hard to really maintain business during the pandemic. You would think during the pandemic they're doing well, but there's still some challenges, but they do bring business to the community.
They work very hard. The owners of these bodegas, they're all different backgrounds, races, religions, colors. But the one thing that they have in common, and this is the commonality amongst all of them, is that they all are entrepreneurs that decided to risk what they have, get these four corners to try to feed their family. And it is challenging because if they're not pricing things properly, if they're not buying stuff properly, if they don't know their inventory, if they don't have these new tools, you know, everyone before used to be that fast service was driving into the drive-through. Now fast service is ordering before you get to the drive-through. And if they don't have these tools to be successful, a lot of them fail and they flounder because they can't compete.
It's a hard challenge. And I think a lot of people have to deal with the fact that you've got big business and you got big business and they do very well. But then on the other side, you've got these small businesses, and it seems as though they're handicapped in a lot of ways. I talk about COVID and, how COVID has impacted small businesses in a tremendous kind of way. I also want to talk about independent businesses in the city. Give me a little bit about your take on independent businesses in the city and where they stand.
So I will tell you, and we have several thousand POS units. Our registers are deployed throughout the city, and these registers are helping these small independent bodegas, convenience stores, liquor stores, tobacco stores, these corner groceries, not just compete, but level the playing field. And with that, we try to give feedback to these merchants of how other stores are selling products, how much they're selling for. These are the top 50 popular items. If you owned an independent, imagine yourself in behind the counter owning your restaurant supplier or from Costco or wherever you get your products. They don't tell you where to put it in the store so that it maximizes the eye level. They don't tell you how much to sell it for. They don't tell you, how many of them to put on the shelf. They have very little insight that's given and guidance that's given to them. And that's why our register and our network is so powerful and popular, because we try to give as much information back to these merchants so that they could thrive and run their business and compete. How these, you mentioned about the Bodega Association and having the owner or the head of the Bodega Association on the show. We've seen an increase in the amount of sales and the amount of customers that have gone through these stores during the pandemic. And it's been a significant increase throughout our entire network of stores. And we have over 15,000 stores now, coast to coast. We went in the beginning of last March from 34 million customers visiting these stores to last March, where we had 53 million customers visiting these stores. Now, granted, we had also an increased amount of units that we've been deploying over the year, but it shows you the trend. But one thing that has been so sad, and I'm sure the Bodega Association president mentioned this, something that's been so sad is because these bodegas are so convenient and they're so easy to run in, run out, not a lot of people, right? COVID, you don't want to be with the stores with a lot of people. Something that's been so sad, and I think I touched upon it when I was with you last time, is that not only has the sales gone up for some of these stores, crime has gone up for some of the stores, because the same concept of why it's so convenient to shop at these bodegas, because you can run out, has made it attractive to some of these bad guys, for the lack of a better word, to run in, run out, and do what they're doing. And as you know, National Retail Solutions, we're the only POS company that has a patent, a special panic alarm, that when you push the button to open up the drawer, if you're being held up, it opens the drawer and sends a silent alarm to the police department to dispatch the police at the same time. And that's going to be coming out in the next 30 days as well.
Wow. Well, a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, we don't have all the time. We're out of time right now. But Elie, thank you for being with us here, sharing a little bit about businesses,
Darren,
and then also the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Darren. I love being with you, and I appreciate it very much. And I thank you for the good work you're doing. You're spreading good messages, especially at some challenging times like today.
Thank you so
and
much,
you're
Elie.
the best dressed host. I want to make that very clear to everybody. Right?
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Try to represent the day. All right, listen, if you want more information, please visit the website at nrsplus.com. Again, nrsplus.com. You can find out more information about Elie, what he's doing with businesses and also with credit cards and helping people out. All right. I will talk to you in a few seconds because Open is continuing. We're taking a quick break. We got more show. Be back in a second.